Hey folks, welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. Ryan118, who's a big Glasgow Celtic fan, he's just done a tier list for players that he wants to see stay at Celtic um, and players that he would like to see leave Celtic. So this has inspired me to do a similar thing with the current Leeds United squad. So as you can see below, we've got the current squad plus the senior players that have been out on loan this season. So we're not including the likes of Harry Gray or Rory Mahadi, any of the kids, basically, they're not included. I have included Facundo Buonanotte because he has been brought in as a senior loaned in player. So we'll get to Facundo very shortly. And obviously in the case of Facundo Buonanotte, it would be a case of, do I want to see him stay on next season as a permanent signing or as a loan signing or not at all? And that's what we'll come to with Facundo. Anyway, so we shall we'll go in positional order. I think I'll try and do it that way. So we'll start with the guy who's certainly been first choice most recently, and that is Carl Darlow. Now, some of these players are very difficult to make a decision on. They really are. Carl Darlow is currently 35 years old. Very experienced, but very experienced as a backup goalkeeper. And I'm really borderline when it comes to Carl. Like, if Carl was to definitely stay, it wouldn't bother me. I would like to see us upgrade in the goalkeeping department, unless the club feels that Lucas Perry can step up in the next season. So for that reason, I'm going to put Darlow in the maybe keep because he would certainly be a good backup. But as I say, to make this decision, with a few games to go, it is very difficult. And especially with some of them, especially in the goalkeeping department, where we've got two goalkeepers that have played virtually the same number of games this season. Which doesn't fill anyone with a massive amount of confidence, really. But he's not going to be on massive wages compared to some players in the squad, and certainly as a backup goalkeeper, he's as good as you're going to get in the bottom half of the Premier League, I would say. So, moving on to Lucas Perry. So I'm going to say maybe keep, same as Darlow. If Lucas Perry has shown enough in training to convince Daniel Farke that he can hack it in the Premier League. Hello, Kirby. Apologies, folks. She loves to take the limelight. Oh my words, Curbs, make your mind up, Bill. So yeah, Lucas Perry. He was signed for big money. Certainly big money in terms of the current squad, at least. And he has struggled at times to adapt to the Premier League. Kirby's doing this on purpose now. She's arching her back so that I literally cannot be seen. Some of my viewers might actually prefer seeing Kirby instead of me. So, I don't know. I'll do my best, folks. So with Lucas Perry, he's not a bad goalkeeper, but whether he's good enough, that's the big kicker. And the thing to consider with this as well is that 3 of our 4 goalkeepers are all out of contract this summer, including Darlow. So, with Carl, it would be a case of, well, if the club just lets his contract run down and he wants to go to another club to get one final dose of definite first team football, that's fine. With Lucas Perry, he's been bought in for £15 million and was bought in as the, what we thought was going to be an upgrade and ultimately the first choice goalkeeper. He's not being the £15 million goalkeeper that we thought we were getting. But there are some facets to his game that have been very good. I think it might just be a case that he just needs to get a second season. and see if he can cement that first team place. So that's why I'm saying maybe keep for Lucas. Ilamilier, I'm just going to put indefinitely let go because ultimately his contract runs down at the end of the season. He's not played. You know, he's on an all right contract. You know, compared to some of the others, it's modest. I still think there's going to be a very good goalkeeper in Ilamilier eventually, but the fact that he's not featured ahead of either Caldalo or Lucas Perry this season kind of means that the writing's on the wall for Ilan. He's a good age. He'd be a very good goalkeeper for another team. I think he'd be an excellent replacement for Schmeichel at Celtic. To be honest, you know, have him and Sinisalo compete for the number 1 jersey. I think that'd be excellent for an excellent pickup for Celtic, especially on a free transfer. So yeah, I've got nothing against Ilamilier. I think he will be capped by France before he retires. I genuinely think he has that potential. So yeah, Ilan, as I say, he'll leave, but he leaves with my best wishes. You know, he's not moaned or complained about being third choice this season. He's got on with it. He's still been a good influence in the dressing room. You can see in the training videos he gets on really well with everyone. So, and he just seems a nice lad as well. To be fair, in the interviews he's given and everything, you know, and he's played over 200 games for Leeds. You know, it's not a bad stint whatsoever, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's my take on Ilamilier. Moving on to Alex Cairns, 4th choice goalkeeper. He's not played and he's always been 4th choice. And he doesn't seem bothered about it. He's on one of the lowest contracts in the entire squad. I would genuinely offer him a coaching role. He's fantastic in the dressing room. The whole squad loves him to bits. He's a great character. And, you know, he'd be an excellent role model for the young goalkeepers coming through. He really would. You know, if he wants first team football, you know, he might get a move maybe to a League One club or something like that. Maybe even a bottom half Championship club, and he might get a final season or two as a first team goalkeeper. But for me, you know, I'd like to see Alex stay at the club. I think Kenzie would be a great goalkeeping coach for the academy. I really do. He came through the academy anyway, so he knows what it's all about. So yeah, if he's seemingly not bothered about playing regular first team games, I mean both Alex and Ilan have both played a couple of the under-21s games this season. You know, to help out the young squad when Mahdi and Ombang have been out on loan. You know, they've been model professionals, both of them this season. They really have. And you know, the difference between Melier and Keynesy, who again his contract's running out at the end of the season. He's 33-year-old now, I think, so he's of an age where he could start coaching, you know, and be the academy coach, which I think he'd thrive in a role like that. You know, he's still very young in the head. You know, as I said, comes across an absolutely great character and came through the Leeds Academy. He knows what it's about. So moving on to the fullbacks then. Let's start with Jayden Bogle. Some of these are, I mean, you know, I'm going to try and move things along a bit because I've spent a bit of time on the goalkeepers there, to be fair. Jayden Bogle, definitely keep, been excellent at right back. Yeah. Some of these are so obvious, I'm just going to make it brief. So, yeah, no brainer for Jayden Bogle. Excellent right back and probably a bit unlucky to miss out on Tuchel's recent England squad. Same could be said of this guy, James Justin, and I'm going to put definitely keep. Now, whether Justin stays as a definite in the first 11 or he stays as a squad player, I think he's an excellent squad player because of his versatility. Very experienced, still a decent age, and he hasn't let us down. He didn't start that many games in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, since the turn of 2026, been really good for us. And so versatile, can play either side at fullback and can play centre back. So for me, it's a definite keep. £8 million, £9 million, whatever it were, yeah, no issues there. And Bogle 5 million back when we were in the Championship. I mean, come on, you know, these are absolute steals. Right, so we've got the 2 right backs. Well, we'll go on to another one who's kind of like James Justin Championship version almost, if I can find him. Here he is, Sammy Byram. Coaching role. He's the oldest outfield player in the squad. Fantastic influence on the rest of the team. Really mature, head on him. Very experienced. Came through the academy. Has hardly kicked a ball this season. If he wants first team football, a bit similar to Kenzie, Sam could easily get a first team position in a championship club for me. You know, he's proved his fitness in recent years to be a lot better than what it had been for a few years outside of his time at Leeds. If he wants to start, you know, getting his coaching badges and you know, end up being a good coach, I see no reason why we shouldn't offer Sam a coaching role. I think his contract is up at the end of the season. I ain't got a bad word to say about Sam Byram. I think if Kenzie and Sam were to join the academy coaching staff, you know, we've already got Johnny House and Scotty Gardner and Aaron Lennon, you know, who came through the academy. They're all involved in the coaching of the youth teams at the moment. You know, why not add another 2 academy graduates in there? You know, so if Sam still wants to play, it goes with my absolute blessing, and a massive thank you for his services to the club. But he's such a professional. You know, you could just imagine him being a very good influence on the kids. And as I say, you know, at his peak, a very good fullback. You know, he's had a good career. You know, 32-year-old now. You know, and he's had a season where he's hardly played. So, yeah, that's my take on Sam. Right, next one. Possibly easiest choice on the entire list if I can find him. Where's he disappeared to? Please tell me he's in this list. Oh, I've got to restart the entire thing. I counted it up as if it was the right number of players. Here we go. There he is. He was hiding. GG! The Gabster. The gift of the Gab. One of our best players this season. And he's only going to get better and better and better. Yeah, I've been wax lyrical about Gabby Goodmanson all season. Nothing more I need to say. Definite keep, with a capital definitely, and a capital keep. That's all I can say. The Gab. Right up there. So that's all the full backs. Let's move on to the centre backs. Here comes. See, one of the difficulties that I've come across with this is that there aren't going to be that many that we end up letting go. Not like a massive amount. Joe Roden, definitely keep. I mean, what more can you say? It's an easy and obvious choice, quite frankly. The ones that definitely keep, there's a lot of definite keeps, and most of them are definite keeps with a, you know, and it's so easy to keep them. Right. Where is he? Here he is. Big Yak. Feed the yak and he will score. He hasn't scored many goals, but he's a keeper. He's a keeper of opposition number 9s. He keeps them in his pocket. You know, we spent some big money on Yaka, but big money brings you big performances, and 90% of Yaka Biel's performances this season. Oh yeah, he stays without question. I'm sorry, the guy. You know, he's kept some of the Premier League's best number 9s as quiet as you like. Easy keep. Right. On because I didn't sort the order of the players out here. This is why it's difficult to find them. The next one, easy keep. This back three, right? It's our best back three, and they're great. I really like all three of them. Pascal Strout, easy keep. I'm sorry, like he just is. He's great. Club vice captain as well, you know. And he's been at the club a long time. Came through as an under-21 player originally. Signed from the Eredivisie and you know he grew in the Leeds youth team. And he's just become a very, very good defender. So yeah, I don't want to break that three up. I really don't. I think that they are Premier League. Because bearing in mind going into next season, they're going into the Premier League season with a season under the belt together as a back three. Why rock the apple cart when you've got a back three as good as that? That's my take on it. Moving on. So our other defender. I'm gonna put Sebastian Bourne in the maybe let go. We only got Seb for £5 million. He is rumoured to be on a fair bit of wage, about 45k a week apparently, according to Matty Foster at Imagine Not Being Leeds. He done a stream recently about what all the wages are that Leeds players are on at the moment, and I think Seb was on somewhere between 40 and 50, which for a player who's only made about 10 appearances this season, yeah, he's on the odd occasion when he's played, he hasn't let us down much. He's played all right, and the thing for me with Seb, his injuries have been the worst problem for Seb. But when he's played, he's done all right. He's a very capable backup for the main three at the top of the screen there right now. But if you know Seb's of an age where he's going to want to play first team football, he's going to want to try and get into the Belgium international squad if he can. And he's not going to do that at Leeds if he's not playing games. So I would consider letting Seb go if the club feels confident that with the likes of James Justin and Ethan Ampadu that we have enough cover at centre back. Yeah, difficult one there with Seb. I wouldn't have a problem if Seb stays. I wouldn't have a problem. And again, if he goes, I wouldn't have a problem with it either. Just because his career hasn't kick-started at Leeds, unfortunately. All right, that's all of the defenders. I'm gonna move. I'll leave the loan players. So the players that we've got out on loan, I'll leave those till last, because we've got a mixture of positions with all of those boys as well. So these guys are the ones that are currently in the squad. So next one, very easy. If I can find him, where he is? Here he is, the captain, Big E. Ethan Ampadu stays, getting better and better as the season goes on. Very good player, and more importantly, his leadership skills are getting better by the game as well. So influential to the team. Has taken on the captain's role from Liam Cooper really well, and yeah, simple decision really. Who else is a midfielder? Same with Stacky. There he is. Fantastic character. You only have to look at the posts that him and his wife do. They're hilarious. And he's been a really good player this season. He's chipping in with goals and assists. He's a set piece taker. He's a beast in the middle at about 6'4". He's a giant. And he's just forming a great partnership in midfield with Ethan Ampadu. So it's a no-brainer whichever way you look at it, really. Who else have we got in the midfield? Tanaka. Oh, it's not so clear cut with Al. Oh, I'm so borderline between definitely keep and maybe keep. Because he hasn't played much, but I think there's a lot more to come with Outanaka. I'm going to put him in maybe keep because I think that clubs might go in for him, you know. We only signed him for £3 million, so it'd be easy to probably sell him for double that. You could sell him for £6 million and someone's getting a deal, you know, someone's getting a bargain. I wouldn't want him to go, so I don't want Outanaka to go because I think there's a lot more to come from him. We've got to bear in mind he's not a kid. You know, he's not in his early 20s, he's in his mid-20s. But he's still got plenty to offer. He's a Japan international and a very, very, very tidy midfielder. But he's just not playing games, and I think he's losing his mojo a bit. He's not feeling as hyped as he were, you know, when he was playing regular. I'm so bored. Like maybe I should have made another category of somewhere in between, definitely and maybe. Because that's where Outanaka would be for me. And then another one of our midfielders, again, I'll put him in maybe. Like Sean Longstaff, again, he's just not played a great deal. He's had some injury problems this season. Very decent when he's played. Like again, both Outanaka and Sean Longstaff haven't really let us down when they've played. And they offer really good midfield depth. And I'll put our other central midfielder in there as well, Ilya Gruev. Again, I won't be super sad if those guys possibly leave. I don't want them to leave because I think that why ruin a squad that's got really good squad harmony and provides good depth and are proving that they're good enough for this division. You know, so. But if we need to make space for other players, for brand new players, for better players to come in, some of these boys are going to have to go. And I feel it feels so harsh, for how Sean and Ilya, because all three of them have been good this season when they've played. I've got nothing against any of those boys. So yeah. Difficult one. Alright, who else we've got? So moving on to... this next category is so hard. It's the wingers. Oh, Christ above. I'll leave Brendan until after the wingers. I think I've got to put them all in maybe. Because, obviously, the likes of Dan James and Willie Nonto... Also, I'll come on to Noah Okafor in a minute, actually. But in terms of Dan James and Willie Nonto, you know, they're natural wingers. They're not natural to play in other positions. And if we need to change our system and our format, those two boys are ideal to bring on. You've got Dan James with that raw pitch. You've got Willie Nonto, very technical player. So I'd maybe keep them so that we've got that strategical option. I don't think they go down as definite keeps, but there's definitely a shout for keeping them. Noah Okafor, right. So Noah is in between definitely and maybe. I'm going to put him in definite because we've seen what he can do in glimpses. If we could get Noah Okafor fully fit, that's a very technical and creative player. Just adds a bit of spark when he comes on. His work rate's very good. I mean, this is why he gets subbed at 70 minutes. Because he's so knackered. Because when he starts games, he puts absolutely everything into it. It would be harsh, you know, again, if we ended up getting rid of all three wingers just because we don't want to play with wingers. You know, it don't make any sense to me, that. So yeah, that's my take on those. Brendan, I'll say maybe. Brendan had a period of time in the middle of the season where he looked absolutely shit hot. Scoring goals, assisting goals. His work rate is second to none. He's an absolute engine. Never gives up, hardly tires. and the effort's there. You can see what he's trying to put into his game, and he's improved his game this season. As I said, the goals and assists have dried up a little in recent times, but there's something there. The only other issue that we might have is that we probably wouldn't recoup the 20 plus million that we spent on him. We spent a lot of money on him. No fault of Brendan, that's just the club doing what they did. But for me, like a bit like when Brighton came in for Georgie Rutter, we were still able to make a couple of million on top of what we spent on, because we spent a shed load on Georgie Rutter, and we still sold him for more than we bought him for. Only by a couple of million, but it still meant we made a profit. Is Brendan Aaronson's stock that high that we could maybe make somewhere between 25 and 30 million pounds? I mean, I doubt it. And again, if we're the one thing that we need more of this season is goals and creating goals. I just think we need an upgrade on Brendan. Nothing against Brendan. Like, if you could get someone that's got the work rate and the engine of Brendan Aronson, but just that extra bit of clinical quality on top, what a player. You're almost talking Messi standards, in terms of an absolute peak Messi. Like Brendan's like Timu Messi. He's like Wish Messi. A lot less goals and a lot less assists, but you can see that style. It's just with that energy and that work rate. There's no comparison between Messi and Brendan, apart from maybe size, and the fact they both play attacking midfield / forward / wing, whatever you like. I'm sure that certainly the majority of you'll know where I'm going with it. Facundo Buonanotte, no, he's unfit. The very tiny smidgy chances that we get him on loan again, but he has a full pre-season, gets fit, and then starts to show the glimpses of that quality that he's got. He's still young, he's only like 22. But in his current physical state, no. Wouldn't have him back for next season. We need to improve the quality we've got, and unfortunately, Facundo just doesn't improve the quality we've got. DCL, I've got to say definitely keep, because even if we get a better striker than him, we're still going to be needing him. And you know what? For the number of minutes he's played, I've got to say this for Lucas as well. I can't not say it. Like, he's, these two have been, for free transfers, have been really, really good this season. They're easily going to get between 20 and 25 goals between them this season. Which for a pair of free transfers, you can't sniff at it. But we do need an upgrade in terms of striker, because we need a more consistent goal threat. So we need someone that's kind of a hybrid of DCL and Metch's skill set together. If we can find a striker that's got both of those guys' skill sets, that is a beastly striker and a goal scoring one at that. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Right, so these we've got Joel. I'm borderline between maybe and definite, and definite might seem a bit harsh, but I'm gonna say I'll say maybe. I'll give him like the benefit of the doubt. It all depends on system for Joel, but he's hardly played. He's played even less than Sebo now. I'll be kind to Joel. I'll just for what he did last season, I'll be kind to him. But if he did leave, I'd be like, Joel, you were awesome last season. Thank you for your service to Leeds United. But he's just not going to fit into the system unless something changes in pre-season. And it'd be a case of like, if we can get some money for Joel. We bought him for 10 mil. His stock is going to have dropped. But it might rise if he has a good World Cup with Suriname. I don't know. difficult one. Let me know your thoughts on Pirou. But for me, he is borderline between maybe let go and definitely let go for me. Now, most of these that are out on loan at the moment, it's difficult, isn't it? Verba, he's been injured all season and he don't really want to play for Leeds, so he's definitely let go. That's an easy one. I feel a bit sorry for Isaac Schmidt. Like, he just played in a couple of friendlies and he looked out of his depth. He had players telling him where to go for positioning and things like that. I think if you adapt Isaac Schmidt into an attacking midfielder instead of a fullback, I think he could become a good player. But I'm assuming that his loan spell has been, playing at fullback. At fullback, he ain't good enough. But I think there's a player there. He looks quite good on the ball, good energy. I'd train him. I would train him and coach him into an attacking midfielder. I really would. And see if he's more productive that way. I'm torn on Largi Ramazani and Matteo Joseph. Come back to those. Jack, his time at Leeds has come to an end, hasn't it? Really, he's. In fairness, he came back to us after his mum came out with some stupid comments that he'd never play for Leeds again. He's just not really fit into the system, and he's not the same player that he was under Marcelo Bielsa. Under Marcelo, Jack was a very capable left winger. His best season in the Premier League was 8 goals and 8 assists. Could you see him getting 16 goal involvements in a full season for Leeds now? I don't think so. So yeah, the time for Jack has come, in my opinion, as a Leeds player. So we're down to 2 young lads and almost like a Willie Nonto 2.0. There's a player there in Largy, isn't there? There really is, and his loan at Valencia is actually improving. Oh, I'm gonna put him in the maybe keep. It's either maybe keep or maybe let go. I'm borderline for Largi Ramazani. There's a player there. But again, it's like Willie Nonto, who's hardly played. Largi would have hardly played, again, because we don't use wingers. Gallard. Oh, tricky one. He's had a superb season in the Championship. And again, he's a similar age to your Nontos and your Ramazanis. He's around that 23, 24 mark. And he's finally coming good, he's finally showing he's capable. I'm going to say maybe let go. It's not a definite yet. Because he is showing signs of what he can do. It's just because he's been playing right winger for Hull. And again, we don't play with wingers. So I'm conflicted with that one. Matteo Joseph. I got the impression that Matteo just don't want to play for a club if he's not going to be playing as a number 9. And there might still be some stock there for Matteo because he's only 22. So I'm going to say maybe let go. If we need to make some funds available. So, I don't know. Like, by the end of the season, I would possibly be tempted to change a couple of these. But yeah, it's not a definite. Like it would for players like Joe, like his attitude would be fine. I'm sure he was, he wasn't getting used, and he never moaned or complained. Matteo Joseph, on the other hand, he moaned and complained. And he was given the number 9 shirt at the start of the season, or the number 9 position at the start of the season, last season, and didn't shine. And yet he's demanding that he gets first team games. Well, it's like, well, hold on a minute. You've had first team games and you've not been scoring goals. So what's your excuse? Whereas Joe Gallart's been a very good professional, for a player of his age. So yeah, this is difficult. I don't know if I've made the right decision on a couple of these, but I mean, again, in terms of we've got to keep a fair chunk of the squad, because ultimately, we're not going to be in terms of the squad cost ratio that's replacing PSR. We're not going to be in a position where we can afford to let over half the squad go. It just won't be financially viable. So we're going to have to be very careful with this. Now, in terms of where we could possibly make a bit of profit, maybe the likes of Bornau and Pirro and Gallart and Joseph could bring us in a bit of profit. We can't bring any profit in with Melier because his contract's running out. Verber's just been too injured. Schmidt, we only signed Schmidt for 3 million, so maybe we could get 4 or 5 in return. Jack Harrison, he's 29 years old now, and he's just not picking his form up wherever he goes, so we would struggle to make any kind of profit on Jack, because we got him for about, I think we finalised his deal at 11 or 12 million after those loan spells. So then, if you're trying to make a profit to bring in some extra wiggle room, you're looking at the players in that maybe keep section. Or, if you wanted to be really bold, we ended up getting DCL and Metro on freeze. So whatever money you make on those is coming in as profit. So it really depends on what the board decides they want to do. It also depends on whether teams come in with any kind of interest. It wouldn't surprise me if some of the players on that maybe keep line leave if they want to search for more regular first team football. I'd be amazed if we lost anyone on that top row. Possibly, with the possible exception to that would be Lucas Mecha. But again, I think it would be foolish to let Lucas go at this stage, because I think Lucas has done very well for the minutes he's had. So to me, it makes sense to keep everyone on that top row. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got 11 players there. So you've got the majority of a starting lineup. If we assume that Lucas stays, because again we'd never make profit, he's still got several years on his contract, and we pay £15 million for him. Well, we're not going to sell him for more than £15 million after the season he's had. So, do you offer Darlow a new contract but get a new goalkeeper in? And potentially have three goalkeepers on the books if Kenzie was to become a coach and if Illan goes, and then effectively you're juggling the role of one goalkeeper and one sub goalkeeper between 3 fairly senior goalkeepers, depending on who you bring in. Or do you just simply promote either Rory Mahadi or Darryl Ombang? That's the question. So that's a difficult one. Other players that we could make a profit on, potentially Outanaka, we've got him for £3 million. Gruev we got for £5 million. Nonto we got for £5 million. Ramazani we got for £7 million. Players like that we could make a profit on, as well as DCL and Mecha, who we got for free. But do we want to? We really don't want to be losing anyone on that top row, in my opinion. In terms of the letting go, we got Seb Bornau for 5. Joel Pirro, I think with the money that's being spent in the Championship these days, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Birmingham or Wrexham comes in for him with a 12 million bid or something. Or any of the 3 teams that get relegated for that matter. Gallart, we got Gallart for £1 million and Joseph for £1 million actually, so we could easily make profit on those 2. Certainly with Joe, with the season he's had at Hull, the season Matteo's having is, we could probably still could make a profit, I think. And then with those ones on the bottom row, as I say, doubtful with Jack, possible with Isaac, Doubtful with Max, we're going in for about 11 mil. Facundo's not our player, and then Ilamilia's contract's running out. So there we have it, folks. There's my kind of overview of the squad. Who should stay, who should go? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, I'm a poet and didn't know it. But yeah, do please hit the notification bell for more future content. Do please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do please like and help the video. Your support really is appreciated. And do put it in the comments down below. Who would you keep? Thanks, Curb. She's putting her tail in front of the camera. Give over. Stop it. Oh my word. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Which of these players would you change to a different category? Or do you think I've got the majority right? But in the meantime, big thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.